Do you consider the union to be a voluntary union?
So, yes, I do. I think the independence referendum result in 2014 shows that. But I do think that we need to stop talking about the union as if it's a union for Scotland or a union for Wales. It's a union for all of the countries. And not enough is talked about the union in England. And I think that that's wrong.
But if it's a voluntary union, you say it is, what's the democratic route out of it for a country that decides it wants to leave?
Well, we had that in 2014.
That was 10 years ago. What
Yes.
would the democratic route out of it be if Scotland wanted to leave now?
Well, I think that constantly having referenda is not necessarily delivering what people want.
So there's no route out now for Scotland?
So a voluntary union doesn't mean something which people can just press a button at any point and then it all unravels. There are many, many people who are involved. And it is a complex question, yes. But if the real question you're asking me is, do I think we should have another referendum? I don't think the answer is yes.
So there is no route out for the people of Scotland at the moment?
Well, one of the things, Martin, which I think we need to recognise is that building a country requires a lot of work, it requires a lot of effort, and it isn't something that we should take for granted. If all we're talking about is how to get out, we're not actually bringing people together.
No, but that means it's not voluntary.
I disagree. I think that it is.
So what's the way out? What's the way out?
I disagree with the premise.
When can we get it? When can we be released if we wish to be?
I disagree. The union is one where everybody can rush out at a particular point. People feel different things at different times. And the union is about more than just Scotland or just Northern Ireland or just Wales. It is about all four of us, all four nations, how we interact.
So theoretically, we could be held in this union against the will of the people.
I do not think that the country has even healed from Brexit, let alone the 2014 independence referendum. I want politicians to get out there and start fixing things for the people, rather than obsessing endlessly about these political questions that actually are not making life better.
It's no surprise that things have been tense in Scotland under a one-nation Tory government, but it's fair to say that it would only get worse under an English nationalist one. Recently, Tory leadership hopeful Kemi Badenoch sat down with BBC Scotland journalist and covered topics like taxes, immigration and, of course, the union itself. But the conversation quickly spiralled when Badenoch was asked whether the union was a voluntary one. Her initial response was a grin and a yes, set off a series of increasingly evasive answers, and the interview quickly turned into a bit of a car crash. When pressed further on what a voluntary union truly means, specifically if there's a democratic route for Scotland to leave, Badenoch doubled down on dismissing the notion of another referendum, insisting that the 2014 vote settled the matter. But for many Scots, that was a decade ago, and both demographics and circumstances have shifted since. For those who feel that the union might no longer serve Scotland's best interests, her response felt dismissive and almost condescending. Badenoch seemed to suggest that the 2014 was a one-and-done deal, regardless of any changes in public sentiment. What's striking is the contrast between Badenoch's staunch support for Brexit, a decision that radically altered the UK's relationship with Europe, and her dismissal of Scotland's push for independence. She was a prominent advocate for UK leaving the EU, touting sovereignty and independence as cornerstones of national self-determination, yet here she's telling Scots that leaving the Union is too complex and impractical, warning of all the unknowns and the work involved. This mixed messaging isn't lost on the people of Scotland, though, who have watched English Conservatives preach the virtues of self-determination while denying them the exact same right. The interview took a frustrating turn when she brushed off the question with "I disagree with the premise," echoing the deflections we saw often from Liz Truss. It was clear that Badenoch didn't want to entertain the notion that the union might actually be binding, rather than voluntary, if there's no genuine exit option for Scotland. What makes this even more infuriating for Scots is her stance on immigration. When asked if Scotland might have the power to tailor its immigration policies to meet its distinct needs, particularly in sectors like healthcare where worker shortages are critical, Badenoch dismissed the idea. She insists that the immigration decision should remain centralised under her authority as Prime Minister, essentially leaving Scotland dependent on Westminster for essential workers. It's a stance that disregards the specific needs of Scotland's economy and social services, which differ significantly from those in the other parts of the UK. This approach to governing Scotland raises serious questions about the future of the Union. If Scottish concerns are routinely sidelined, is it any wonder that the independence movement has gained momentum? When Badenoch insists that the union is voluntary, yet refuses to outline a path for Scotland to leave, it seems to highlight the union's one-sided nature. Many Scots see the union not as an equal partnership, but as a situation where England has the final say. The moment in the interview that left many wondering what a Badenoch-led Conservative government would mean for Scotland. Would she listen to Scottish concerns or continue the pattern of dismissing them as mere political questions? And if an English nationalist outlook prevails in Westminster, what does that say about the future of a multinational United Kingdom? It's clear from this interview that Scotland's place in the UK may feel increasingly like a cage rather than a community. But let me know what you think in the comments. I've been Jake from Just Jake. As always, subscribe to the channel and I'll see you next time. You actually made it to the end of the video. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, which, why haven't you already, is somewhere over there. And also, if you want to watch more videos, also check out over there. I've been Jake from Just Jake. See you later.